Peace, 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 family. What's really good is Coach Yanni, Rev Yanni. It is another Sunday here with the Peace People's Assembly, giving thanks for all of your lives, giving thanks for my life, giving thanks that the vision is being made clear and more plain every single day of my life. Surely, 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 God has been good to me, has restored my life, has blessed me to be here today, y'all. A year ago to date, I was having some challenges, y'all. I was in the hospital. My kidney transplant was rejecting from my body. As some of you know, I'm a kidney transplant survivor, and in 2018, my dear donor blessed me with the kidney so that I could get off dialysis, get off the transplant list, and tap into life more abundantly. So boom, here I am. And in the same way, my kidney donor gave me a beautiful and wonderful additional power pack. I got to power up this computer, or else we are going to go zoop, 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 flat out. So let me handle that really quick before I lose my peace, people. Here we go. Tia might be able to edit this out, but Tia's not here today. So here we go, family. Thank God for my mother, who I'm bringing on in just a second, for helping me be a multitasker and highly educated and intelligent and all the things of the world. All right, here we go. All right, family, and we back. What's good? We are here, the Peace People's Assembly, giving thanks, y'all, for this Lenten season, giving thanks that I am a resurrected being and a miracle, living my life more abundantly, and sharing all my peace people with y'all and with the world. What's really good? Happy Sunday, blessed Sunday to all of you. So it's Women's History Month, and there are some powerful, beautiful, wonderful Black women in my life who have help me transform, help me just be the beautiful being that I am, that have held me down in familial ways, in the ways of family, in the ways of love, in the ways of agape love. And I'm giving thanks for them today. So this month, I'm bringing on all the peace people and the women that have transformed my life one way or another. And so look, here we are. We're about to get into our segment of Say Word, where I interview some amazing and powerful guests and hear all about their stories, all about their work in the world. So my first guest for today is my dear friend Nadira Ali. Let's bring her up. Nadira,
Hi,
hello.
friend. How
What's
are you?
I'm doing so well. I'm
Good.
smiling. I'm happy. I'm grateful.
You
How
look
you
great.
been?
I'm,
Thank
I'm
you. Thank you.
good. I'm good. I've had no complaints
No
at
complaint.
all. No complaints.
I love it. Wow. I feel like that's the season we need to be in. Like we
you know?
deserve to be in that season.
And even if I had something to complain about, I'm good.
Right? Yo, we here. Like we here. Like all
Right.
is well. So thank you for being on the Peace People's Assembly.
Of course.
I've been preparing to relaunch all my things in the world after a year of recovery.
Yeah.
So thank you for your love and your support there for me every step of the way. Coming to see me in the midst of COVID when I couldn't travel, but came for my birthday. Thank
Of
you.
course. The love is mutual, girl.
That's it. Our trips to New Orleans. I'm ready for round three, round two, round three of that.
Right. Whatever's in store. We ready.
That's it. And then I'll be back in the
I
A
know. I can't wait.
in a few weeks, sis. So come on, tell the people about you, maybe about my little nephew, and about your work in the world.
So, I am a fifth grade social studies teacher. I used to teach middle school. When I first started in education, I taught middle school. And I left to be in corporate America, nonprofit, anything but education. But once my son, Abbas, got of school age, I knew I needed to be back in the classroom or at least back in the school building with him. When you look at the data they use to determine how many prisons need to be built, and you look at the data about young Black boys and their self-esteem and things like that, I knew I wanted to be part of his educational village as well. And what turned into, very personal reasons for getting back into education, it has blossomed into this whole network that children need of all races. And it has turned into this resurrection of my love for education and my love for connecting with children and things like that. So that's where we are.
I love it. I love it. If you could share one, because you always, are telling us the stuff the students are doing. If you could share maybe, is there any heartwarming story that something that a student did or something cute a student did?
There's so many, right?
I know.
And the best thing about it is that it happens when you least expect it.
Oh,
And
goodness.
in the very way of children, it happens when you are kind of feeling yucky and you're wondering, like, am I doing an okay job at this?
Yeah, yeah.
And then you get the most random card or conversation from someone.
Yeah.
And the cutest thing that has happened recently, there's this student who probably since August, she has always kind of looked at me real stank in the middle of class, right? I'm just like, this girl does not like me at all, not even a little bit. And it was such an awkward, see, I've never been stared at like that. And I have had some, I have had some real neck rolling city girls in my class. Yeah. And so her mother emailed me probably about 2 weeks ago. And she's like, Miss Ali, I don't know if you know this, but my daughter has been sketching you. And in her notebook, where all of her notes are supposed to be, there are like these constant sketches of me. And she gets better and better every time. So like the latest one is up on my wall in the classroom, and she has like got me down to a T. And I was like, I was always wondering why you were looking at me like that. She was like, it's because I don't know how to draw noses. And I was having a really hard time drawing noses. And she was just like, and I just love how you talk to me. And I just couldn't help it. I got distracted by you standing there, how you talk to us. And it just made me want to draw you. So it was like, I didn't even think children could have muses or anything like that, but it was
absolutely.
And so of course we had to go back and make sure she had notes, but there were at least maybe 12 drawings. And it's just I remember the outfits that I wore, like the shoes, like all the detail from the design on my nails and like everything. So that's probably one of my favorite stories this year.
I was wondering if that was the one you were going to share. That was like just 2 weeks ago or something like that, right?
Yes. And she has lunch with me sometimes. And, we've talked more about, and what's so interesting is just from that, I've learned where she was having difficulty in other subjects, and we found ways to try to like, connect what happens in my class to the other places where she's having difficulty, and spending time with me during recess and other periods where it's not academic periods where we can kind of go over some stuff. Just really reflecting on that connection of educator to child, because that's where you see the greatest results, is when there is some type of connection and relationship with with the child. Yeah,
that's it. I know when I was in seminary, we learned about something like person-centered education.
Yes.
And the power of it as we deliver sermons, as we deliver messages. One person is going to hear a message this way, one person is going to hear a message this way, so you kind of got to mix it up.
Absolutely. And as the person delivering that message, it's literally your job to meet your audience where they are. It's not your job. It's not the audience to say, let me get to them. It's you to develop the different ways that you get to people. A lot of people think the biggest pull for teachers is the lesson plans and the testing and the grades and things like that. And that is really a small portion of it. And, it's really about, how do I get the lesson home? And what I have learned is that there is no education if there's no relationship. And if there's no and the only way you get relationship is through connection. And the only way you get connection is by stepping outside of your own understanding, stepping outside of your own experiences, and really finding common ground with people. And people don't think that you have to do that for children. They think kids are just supposed to come in, listen to what you got to say. Girl, you are boring. They don't care about nothing you're talking about. You have to provide the connection. You have to create that common ground between you and a child so that they can really open up and hear everything you're talking about and really take it in.
Yep.
Whatever
Yeah.
that might look like.
Whatever it is. I know when I was teaching, I was blending the world of mindfulness and hip hop.
Yeah.
When I was in Richmond, California, and going to middle schools and high schools all around the Bay,
Yes.
but was able to hook them 900 students a week I would work with, but able to pull them,
That's
with
amazing.
hip hop and remixing songs, and they're
Yeah.
like, whoa.
Hip hop pedagogy is a whole thing, right? And it
Absolutely.
spills into, well, what else can you relate to people with? Is it music? Is it fashion? Is it whatever lingo you might know? But like pedagogy is so much more than just get into small groups and things like that. It's really about how do we create environments where children are in a constant state of discovery and where children are in a safe space of discovery, because that is where learning happens.
Wow. So. I love it. I love it. Okay, let's give Mama another little second. Space of discovery, constant place of discovery.
Absolutely.
What has been the most rewarding part of teaching?
The most rewarding part is I think knowing that I may not be able to teach you everything, but I know I'm planting a seed. And being able to plant a seed in a young mind is so rewarding, because you get to see it blossom, and then you get to see how it turns into other things.
Yeah.
And especially as a Black educator, it gets a little complicated, right? Because you have a certain responsibility you have a different level of responsibility, period. I have a responsibility to my Brown and Black students that I am uplifting, educating, equipping, and arming them with what it takes to navigate through this world.
Yeah.
And I am also helping my white students be equipped and be knowledgeable enough and empathetic enough to understand what it's like to live in a very diverse world, and to not be a consistent perpetuator of whiteness, you know?
Wow.
And for a lot of my students, it's the first time that they've ever been forced to even interact with a scope of Blackness.
Yeah.
And for a lot of my Black students or Brown students, it is the first time that they're met with a diverse, colorful experience, you know, because a lot of times your students have never left the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Left their street. And so when you can be transparent, honest, have some humility, you are truly cultivating this. You're really sowing the seeds for them to be like, you know what? I've never seen this before. This is something I can explore more into. Or I've never seen this aspect of life before. This is something that I can explore. And so I think a lot of times you may feel defeated because it's like they're not getting it, but they are. And they're going to display it at such an interesting time, because everybody, you know, just like plants, they don't grow at the same. And children are the exact same way.
I love
it. You may get it on day one, and other ones, it will be the last day of school. Y'all not even teaching anymore. And they like, remember when you said such and such? And it's like, thank you.
There's that constant discovery. That constant discovery. I love it.
Yeah.
So I want to bring my mother up before I ask this next question and pose it to both of you. Hey, Mama, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Hi.
Hello to you and all of the Peace people. It's good to see Nadira.
Good to see you.
Yes, I've heard and seen so many pictures of you, and I remember meeting you once before in Atlanta, but it's good to see you again after so many years.
Absolutely. You look wonderful too. Y'all look great.
Thank you.
The jeans are jeaning.
Yeah.
That's it. Mom, if you could tell the people, what you've done with your life. Yeah, some of it.
Well, well, I'll soon be 76 years of age, so it's a long, long story that I have to tell. However, I'll begin at a point that shows you, where I am and where I come from and how I made it to the stage that I am right now. Of course, I was born in Bermuda, and that's where my basic ministry to children started, and that's basically what I do. Um, I was brought up, of course, in the Christian home, Christian family. My father was the bishop of the Churches of God in Bermuda, and having that Christian background to begin with, to start with, I at 16 years of age, even though, as young children, you're always giving your heart to the Lord, you're always coming to the altar and saying, Lord, forgive me. But I think at age 16, that was when I really decided and made a determination. I really wanted to be a Christian. I could have done otherwise because some of my family, my brothers, some of them lean toward the Muslim religion, but I had a sensitivity to the Holy Spirit, and God spoke to me. And at age 16, I truly surrendered to God and gave my heart to God and asked Him to use me. And being in the church, we were always told that seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all things will be added unto you. Well, my heart's desire as a very young age was to teach. I taught Sunday school when I was about 16 years of age. If they were short of a teacher, they would ask me to take over the little kids and teach them some of the scriptures and some of the Bible stories, relate Bible stories to them and lessons to be learned. And that's something I truly, truly enjoyed. And I think that's where my seed was planted. At 17 years of age, after I graduated from high school, before I went off to college, they allowed me to teach a classroom of 7-year-olds. It was called Standard One in Bermuda. And that was quite an experience. Although it was very challenging, I really did enjoy doing that. And then that spurred me on to attend Ottawa Teachers College in Ontario, Canada. And I did my teacher college work there. And even while in teachers college, I did a good job. I got good grades, and I was really impressed with myself. And so I said, okay, I think I can make a great teacher. So I came back home to Bermuda, and then I taught the preschool. I taught preschoolers, and that's where I gained a lot of knowledge, a lot of entertainment, a lot of funny things happened. But then I was able to grow during that period, and soon after that, I married your father, Reverend Dr. Edward Davis, and I came to New York, and we lived at Nyack Missionary College. And there at Nyack College, I was able to land a job at the Salvation Army there. And it so happened that one of the directors had to leave, and they asked me to take over. And I was just so happy to do that. I enjoyed the children there. And one of my memories I had was of a little boy named Ravi. And I was really impressed with him. Ravi was a very quiet child, but then he was very, very smart. He didn't say too much, but you knew in the background he was absorbing things, and he was taking everything in. And he had a cousin named Elizabeth, and she'll tell you like it is, just like it is. And one day, I was asking all the children, "Do you want to go to the bathroom?" And of course, my Bermudan accent came out then. But the little one said, "That ain't no bathroom, that's a bathroom." And so I think I've lost some of my accent being around children because they will tell you straight up, you're not saying it the right way, you're saying it the wrong way. And that's really, I enjoyed the kids. As Najera had said, they'll tell you just like it is. They don't hold back, especially the little ones. They were really something else. But anyway, to make a long story short, once we moved from Nyack and we came to live in Queens, New York, I again was without a job. And so in the neighborhood, there was a school called Cambridge Center for the Gifted. And I wanted Josh to go to this school. But of course, we were poor then, didn't have too much money. So we were able to barter with the director there, and she allowed me to come and help her and teach her because her school was just starting. And so I joined Cambridge Center for the Gifted and stayed there for a couple of years. And while I taught there, Dad was the Salvation Army Boys Club. And both of us were involved in working with children, and both of us love children. And so we decided that along the way, first of all, we thought that we were going to open up a group home on our own, but that didn't pan out. But an opportunity came for us for a daycare in Brooklyn, New York, in the East Flatbush section of Brooklyn, New York, and that was a Caribbean area. And we thought it might be good because an opportunity arrived for us to buy a daycare center. And since I felt called to children and to work with them, we decided that maybe this is what we would do since both of us work with kids anyway. So there was another minister friend who owned the daycare center, but he had to sell it because he was moving out of town. And we were introduced to him, and he allowed us to put $1 down for this daycare center. And by Christmas, he had asked, this was in August when we were looking and were introduced to this minister with the daycare center. But he allowed us to put $1 down, and then by December, he asked us for a $20,000 payment down. Well, of course, as you know from our stories to you, we did not have that. And so what we did, as we did for a number of years, we did what you were doing. We held programs. We rented halls. We had things in the park, ministering to people. And through some of the programs that we did, people, followed our ministry and were able to give toward the purchase of our building. We were also at the time youth ministers. So we would go to different churches in the Bronx once a month, and Dad would preach to the people, and I would teach them action songs, and the churches just supported us. So God has been good to us, and we were allowed to have that daycare center for over 38 years. God met every need that we had. He did, and I'm just so happy about that because we made an impression about so many little kids in that area. Not only the kids, but for their parents also. I feel that we've helped save some of the children and save some of the families because our outreach was based on the Christian premise. And we were in a great area because a lot of the children that came to us were children of immigrant families from the Caribbean. And we knew that most of their parents had a Christian education, and we wanted to continue that for them because there were not too many daycare preschool programs in the area at that time. And so we started our ministry there. And as I said, we've had some wonderful teachers to help us, and it's been really a great, great experience. And when we were not in the schools teaching. We were outside on our steps teaching the neighborhood kids because we were child evangelists. And so we had a whole ministry uh, outside. And then what happened is it grew, and the minister next door to the church invited us to come over. And we had a youth ministry there teaching children and having a lot of fun with them, but in a they're learning about Christ, but in a very different way from what I had learned because I was brought up in the church. But a lot of these children were on church, so we did whatever we could to see that the message of the gospel got across to them, and of course that brought their parents also. And that is one way in which our ministry grew at the church and also at the school. Am I talking too much? So you better stop me and jump in if you need to.
All right, Mama, I'm gonna jump in.
What, what you want to hear some more? Okay. A lot of what Nadira had to say was our approach to the children also. In Deuteronomy 6, it says to love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your strength. And then it said it commanded the people of that day uh, to teach their children what they had learned and what they had taught and what they had experienced. And so the scripture tells us to bind them on their foreheads when you walk, when you talk, when you get up, when you lay down, teach the children. And it also talks about writing it on the door post, on the gates and wherever you go. And that's a kind of creative ministry that approach we use, a very creative uh, curriculum that we use with the children in the daycare center when we were there. And I don't consider myself to be very creative, but I can do the best I can. I can have fun. I mean, I'm not an artist, a perfect artist, but I can make it look like something so it is acceptable to children and they identify what I'm talking about or whatever I'm portraying. And I really enjoy the experience. So, we not only cater to the kids' physical needs, but their emotional needs too. And one of the premises that we have is to see the gifted. Every child is gifted, and see the gift that is in the child and bring out that gift. Everybody won't be at the same level. They don't learn, as Nadira had said, the same way or at the same time. But if we can seek out the gift and bring out the gift in that child, I think that we're doing a wonderful thing and helping them to grow and become the people that they ought to be. We jumped up and down. We did cartwheels. We did everything. We walked through the community. We went on trips. We did a lot of creative stuff. We also, during
Mama, I'm gonna jump in here.
Years,
I'm gonna jump in.
Is that enough? Huh?
Thank you for the history, Mama. I want to jump in and ask y'all some questions while I have you both here with me. Oh Lord, done lost my mama, y'all. We're gonna try and get her back. Today has been interesting, but look, Mama got a lot of history. 76 years old, 40 years with the daycare. That's a lot of history there. Okay, we might get Mama back. We'll see. Nadira, what what has
I had no idea y'all had the daycare for 38 years. That's amazing.
38,
That's so many children impacted, so many families impacted. Like, that is amazing.
Yes.
38 years of impacting a community is amazing. That's amazing.
It was a beautiful experience. Beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, I would be walking in Atlanta and people would be like, Ayana, like, I went to your mom's school, and I'm like, wait, what? Like, I'm 1,000 miles away from home. What do you mean? So definitely legacy all over the world.
And that was so beautiful what you said about you got to find the gift in every child. That is so true. You got to find the gift in every child. That's literally what you're supposed to do.
Nadira, what has been the most challenging part of your job?
I know some of the most recent events with some students and the community involved, but what has been some of the most challenging parts? As you're an educator now, 2023, and then mom started 45, 50 years ago, for you. Yeah.
The most challenging thing for me truly has nothing to do with the children. It is about being an advocate for them in the rooms where it's only adults. And also, you cannot be afraid to tell other adults you are wrong. And the way you're approaching these children is wrong. And it is not conducive for helping them cultivate who they're supposed to be. And it's really interesting because in a school, you'll have teachers of so many different generations. And a lot of generations, it was a sit down, be quiet. You respect me just because I'm an adult.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of courage to be able to tell your administrative team, your board of directors, whomever, like what we're doing with the children, this decision or what we're doing with the children, we are not cultivating the type of scholars or the type of human beings that we say we want to cultivate, and holding adults in the building accountable for the things that we say we want to do. And what you'll find is that a lot of adults don't even do the things that they require of children. And so keeping that honesty and making sure that the adults in the building are just as concerned and involved with the children, so that the children are protected. Because, like I said before, I said a safe space of discovery. It can't just be discovery when it's cute and when I like it. It has to be truly a safe space of discovery from all aspects of life, social, emotional, academically, all of that. But truly the most challenging part, it's not the child who gives up easily. It's not the parent who doesn't have resources. It's not the family that doesn't check homework, because I can do all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I see one of my kids don't have something, that's an easy fix. And I've called y'all like, hey, friends, I need a couple dollars because I got to buy some khakis for some of my babies, because
right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That part is easy, and that, but truly the most difficult part is sometimes you got to check the adults in the building. And sometimes that also means that you got to be an extra layer of protection and covering for your babies, because everybody doesn't operate the same way, and everybody isn't approaching education as this passageway to their future, as opposed to grades and a grade book and things like that. It's a passageway to where they go next. And that gets a little technical.
For sure. Mom, what were some of the most challenging, the most challenging part about your work and, running a whole daycare for all those years?
Okay, I think in the latter part of the years that I was the director of the program, I think one of the most challenging things for me was to make a judgment call concerning the abuse of a child. That was one of the most difficult things I had to do. When it is expected that a child has been abused, when they come with marks on them because their parent beat them or busted their lip, or they have a bump on their head, and you question, and the child is hesitant to tell you what's going on. And when you call the parent and ask them to go, what's going on, they don't give you a clear answer as to what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And, when it only happened one time with a child, it might have happened once or twice with another child. But sometimes when we suspect that's happening, we have to make that call. And of course, I had difficulty making the call, but I knew I had to. And, I made that call, and I'm so glad I did, because I believe I saved the child's life. And I help the mothers too, because then they were able to get counseling.
To
Because
help.
the young people are under a lot of stress with boyfriends, with their what their home is like, and they take out a lot of their aggression on their children, and it's very, very, very unfortunate.
Yeah.
So one of the most challenging times I've had is, with the parents. Sometimes the things you see with kids' behavior, you have to look and see, no, 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 it's the parents. It's the
Yeah.
parents, and this is why this type of behavior is being exhibited.
Yeah.
So, you
Thank you,
know,
Mom.
parents
Thank
parents need a lot of help. Parents need a lot of help. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it's and just to add, like when you're dealing with children, they're a fresh canvas, and
Yes.
you have to approach, like you said, even their poor choices or their behavior that's not the most pleasant. You always have to look for the source of it. That is so true. It's very easy to say, "Oh, that's a bad kid." There are no bad children.
No,
Like they're not
no,
bad. They've been
no,
influenced.
no, not at
Yeah,
all.
they've been
Yeah.
influenced, and you're an influencer in their life. So what position do you take? Do you take the position of damning their future because of their circumstances, or do you take the position of, let me give you something different than what your everyday life is? Because when you
Yes.
think
I mean,
about
we
it,
had 3-year-olds coming using curse words,
yeah, absolutely.
at that age. And, you don't condemn the child. You say, it's the parents, it's the influence in the home,
Yeah.
And so we helped
Definitely.
a lot of homes, a lot of parents, to teach them a better way of bringing up their kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Nadira, what role has your faith played in your work? Even knowing a lot of our homies came out of, the high school you went to. Yeah, what role has your faith played? Yeah.
It's really awesome because my grandmother was Pentecostal. My mom grew up Baptist. I'm sorry, my dad grew up Pentecostal. My mom grew up Baptist, and they both converted to Islam in their late teens. And so I've spent growing up, I was always at church with my grandmother, right? And my dad never turned the Jehovah Witnesses away when they would come knock on the door. And a lot of times I would be um, passionately invited to come sit with him and listen to what they had to talk about. And um, it's very interesting because it when I first got into it, I thought that it would be an issue, right? Because I'm telling them that I'm Muslim and how does that work out? But it has truly just become another space for us to convene and to talk and to share ideas, and especially around Christmas. And it turns into this whole thing of, well, am I still allowed to buy you a present for Christmas? Because your students love to shower you with gifts, right? And so it turns into, I'm going to receive any kindness that you're offering me. I don't care what umbrella it comes in, what packaging it comes in. If it's a kindness that you want to extend to me, then that's what I want. Because when I think about them, when they think of a Muslim person, I want them to think of the kindness that they received from me. I want them to think
Yeah.
about, their experience with me. But just to touch back on my parents have always taught me to be a scholar. And in the Quran, it encourages you to be a scholar of all things. It
Yeah.
teaches you to learn about other faiths. And that is truly part of your duty as a Muslim, is to explore the world that I created, to learn about the world I created, your fellow man, the animals, the stars, the oceans, the everything. You are to be a student of life. And taking that lesson that my father put in me very early, and understanding that it is my duty as a Muslim woman to be a scholar of life,
Mhm.
it's helped me. It's helped me approach education differently, because
Yeah.
you can when you know that you're constantly learning, it makes it a lot easier to help other people be in a space of learning.
Yeah.
Um, so everything from creating something for me and my students to talk about, to teaching them. I share very openly with them about Ramadan, about Eid. My favorite thing is whenever it's Ramadan and I'm fasting, and the kids the kids to come in and say, Miss Ellie ain't had nothing to eat all day. Y'all need to be quiet. It's just like, when you have a kid from East Atlanta that has never met a Muslim in their life, but they know what it's like to be hungry all day. So they know to tell people to chill until she can eat later. So it's just created more things for us to talk about. And your mom said something earlier about bringing your life your life experiences into your education. And I don't see how you can be an educator if you do not incorporate your life experiences into it. So your religion is just another part of that. I've had students, technically you're not supposed to pray in school, but some students have absolutely asked if they could pray in my classroom. Of course, absolutely. So it's like I said, it just becomes another area for sharing and for relationship.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Mom.
Yes.
About how many students you think you've worked with out of your school over the years?
I cannot count the numbers, but we had, I would say, like an average of 75 children a year, and throughout the 38 years. I didn't do that math yet.
Yeah, I can't do that math in my head.
And when you count the family members with that, because once you've, helped the child, you've really helped almost a nation, a community. So it's been quite a number of children. And I'm so proud of them because some of them have become lawyers and doctors and teachers and nurses and doing great things in the world. Yes. Yes. And now we're starting to have grandchildren come to the school. So grandchildren of those students that I taught, they're coming back.
I love it. And so as we close, Nadira, the final question, if you could give one message to all the children of the world, what would it be?
That's a deep one. This is going to be so cliche, and I hate it when adults said this to me, but it's so true. Like, you truly have the capacity to be whatever you put your mind to. Yeah. And it's not because of some magical force in the universe or anything like that. It is truly because it is in you. Yeah. And, we are all one choice from a completely different life. And something that I ask my students every day is, are the decisions we're making today aligning with who we want to be 20 years from now, 30 years from now? Will yourself from 5 years from now be grateful for what you're doing now? Yeah. And, it is truly you are fully capable. You are fully capable and able of doing whatever you put your mind to. And it's so cliche. And I mean, I can't count how many times an adult said this to me growing up. And I'm like, bro, who cares? Like, whatever. But it is truly the truth. You truly are the master of your future and what you want to do. Your circumstances, all of those things are just details. But the truth, the hard truth is you are so capable. And even if you have 10 bad days, it is nothing compared to the thousands of good days you will have. And, that's really it.
That's it. Thank you so much, Nadira.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you for sharing. I appreciate
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful to learn from your mother today. Makes me feel like I'm on the right track. So I love it. I appreciate that.
I think we were in tune because both of us were really saying the same things. You worked with the older kids, I worked with the little ones. And our methods and our approach to children are really beautiful. While you were talking, I was saying, oh man, I should have had her as a teacher. in my school.
I
Because
am grateful. That makes me feel real good about Monday. So I'm grateful for
yes,
this. I'm ready to take on the week.
yes, because one of the main things with my school, I wanted to hire people who love children, and that's the first thing. You have to have a love for children, and be creative. Just just be creative and love children and be creative.
In
And
whatever
I
way you
found that
can.
that worked out really well. We could do anything.
Yeah, for
You know.
sure.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nadira. Love
Of
you,
course.
boo.
Love you
Check
too.
you
Bye
later.
guys. Love y'all.
Okay. Bye.
All right, Mom. You're going to stay on for just another second. Let me
Oh,
get
okay.
that. All
All
right,
right.
Mom. All right. So I have another question for you.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, when I had kidney disease and you were living with me in LA,
Yes.
what was the hardest part of that journey?
Well, I
Sorry.
think I think the hardest part was seeing how weak you were and how
Mm-hmm.
sad you were.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that affected me. And, if your children are not well, mothers are not well.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, I wasn't that well, but I had to be strong, and God gave me the strength
Yeah.
to stand by you and help you through whatever you were facing. And I learned a lot about
Yeah.
kidney disease, became very knowledgeable of what's happening and what's going on with you. And
Yeah.
I remember one of the hardest times was when we went to this hospital, and the second hospital that you went to, and then you were out for like 3 days. That was difficult. I
Yeah.
looked at you and I was saying, "Oh, that's what she looks like when she's going to be dead." It was terrible. It was an awful
Yeah.
experience, a very terrible experience. And then I think that was one of the experiences when I became affirmed. I was affirmed. The Lord affirmed me, and
Yeah.
I I got so angry with the doctors and the treatment and what they had done,
Yeah.
and I would sometimes hesitant to speak to people who are managers of institutions or the head of institutions, but I had to go down and challenge them and question them about what was
Yeah.
happening and what was going on between the residents and the interns and the doctors.
Mm.
And I was happy I did that
Yeah.
because after that,
Thank you.
they did the right thing and you were able to get your strength back when you had lost strength in all your limbs and was just laying there. They started to do the right thing and got you well, and we got out of there as soon as we could.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Thank you for that, Mom.
you were thriving. Yes,
Yeah. Yeah. I
yes,
remember,
yes, yes. Thank God.
Well, I don't
Yeah,
remember those 3 days because I was out,
yeah,
but
that's right.
I do remember, when I came back to it, and, you were
Yeah,
telling me what the deal was for sure.
right.
So thank you, Mom, for your love, for
And
how you were there
give all
for
the
me.
glory to Jesus, to
Yeah.
Jesus, to Jesus. We'll give all the glory to Jesus and tell of his wonderful love. I am
Yeah.
just so happy. You're happy. I'm happy.
Yes, Mom. You
God
got
is
all the
good.
songs on your spirit. God is so good all
Yes,
the
yes, yes,
time.
yes, all
Wow.
the time. He's good.
Yeah. So just wanted, to say thank you to you for your love, for how you
Yeah.
held me down,
Love
through
you.
those
Love you.
years. And
Love
I'm
you.
grateful, yeah, to be back up and, a reflection of you and all your great work in the world.
Wonderful.
Yes, I
Yeah.
love you so much, Mama. Thank you for being on the assembly. Woo,
I
woo.
love you also.
Yes, Mama. I'll see you soon.
Right. And always remember, if you're down, there's always an up. Yes.
Hey, come
All right.
through. I believe it. I receive it. Love you, Mama.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Peace. All right, family. Thank you so much for being here with us on the assembly today. I just had to interview some powerful Black women in my life. Not just that they're educators, but they're also mothers, right? They're also leaders in their communities. They are faithful women doing the work and showing up in the world like only they can. This entire month, we are going live with coaches, creatives, and community leaders that are doing the work in the world. I'm giving thanks for all of the educators, for how you empower us, for how you love us, for how you help us to excel and find success in this world. We're going to keep being creative. We're going to keep thriving. We're going to keep shining, y'all. Head on over to my supernaturallife.org if you feel like giving and donating to the cause. We want to bring back our ASL classes. We want to start our supernatural healing circles back up. We want to start being there and showing up for the people with our supernatural summit days all around the country. So please, please, please head on over to my supernaturallife.org and donate what you can, or head on over to our Patreon, My Supernatural Life, and sign up to give monthly. And we're so, so grateful for every dollar, every cent is going towards creating more programming for the global village. We love y'all. Be peace, no peace, live peace. Reverend Yanni and my mama and Nadira, we out.